You are listening to an exclusive horror story on the Masia YouTube channel. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a story. In the heart of Dalat, a town cradled by misty mountains and gentle breezes, the night descends quietly. It's a town that wears the cloak of tranquility with grace, where the hum of life fades as the clock approaches 10 p.m. The streets, once alive with chattering voices and the clatter of footsteps, now rest under the spell of stillness, disturbed only by the whisper of the wind. Amidst this serene backdrop, a solitary figure remains at his desk, the flickering light of a lone lamp illuminating stacks of papers and the weight of responsibility. This is the office of a government official, a man known for his dedication and the heavy burden of his duties. He is an acquaintance of my master, a man whose nights are often spent in the silent company of unfinished work. As midnight approaches, the official sighs deeply, his wearied eyes glancing at the clock. With a tired determination, he gathers his belongings, extinguishing the lamp's comforting glow. He steps out into the night, locking the door behind him, the click echoing in the hushed silence. He begins his walk home, the path winding gently alongside Xuan Huong Lake. The air is crisp, carrying the scent of pine and the distant call of night creatures. The lake, a mirror reflecting the velvet sky, stretches out beside him, its surface occasionally disturbed by the ripple of unseen life beneath. With each step, the world around him seems to hold its breath, as if guarding secrets whispered only to the night. The stillness is profound, as the official's footsteps echo softly on the cobblestones, each step a rhythm in the night's quiet symphony. The town sleeps around him, windows dark, doors shut tight against the night. He pulls his coat closer, the chill of the air a reminder of the solitude that shadows him. The night had fallen over Xuan Huong Lake, wrapping it in a shroud of mystery. As the official strolled down the winding path, the air around him was thick with the scent of pine and distant murmurs of water. Suddenly, carried on the gentle breeze, he heard it, a faint, heart-wrenching cry. It was the sound of a child, and it tugged at his soul. He paused, straining to listen more closely. The cries grew louder, echoing through the stillness of the night. His heart quickened. The official wondered why a child would be out so late and alone in such a place. He quickened his pace, his footsteps crunching softly on the gravel path. Just as he rounded a bend, a group of children came rushing past him, laughter mingling with the night air. They paid him no heed, their feet pounding the path in hurried excitement. He called after them, seeking answers, but they vanished into the shadows, leaving him with silence once more. Finally, he spotted her, a girl no older than 12, sitting on the edge of the path. Her form was small and trembling, her face buried in her hands as sobs racked her body. The official approached cautiously, his heart aching for the child. "Why are you out here alone?" he asked gently, kneeling beside her. "Did something happen? Were you bullied?" In the dimly lit room, shadows dance upon the walls as the official sits across from the girl, his eyes filled with a mix of curiosity and concern. His voice cuts through the silence, gentle yet firm. "Child, I need to understand what happened. Why do you keep your head down?" The girl remains silent, her head bowed, her hair forming a curtain of mystery around her face. The official, sensing the weight of her silence, continues, "Please, I want to help you. Can you tell me why you are in pain?" His voice barely above a whisper, yet laced with urgency. The girl shifts slightly, her voice barely audible. "They hit me." The words hang in the air, heavy and unsettling, as if echoing the cruelty she has endured. The official's eyes narrow, his concern deepening into a more urgent need for truth. "Who did this to you?" "Please, let me see your injuries," he implores, compassion entwined with his authority. The girl hesitates, the room holding its breath in anticipation. Slowly, she raises her head, her movements deliberate and fraught with an unspoken fear. As she finally reveals her face, the official stumbles back, horror etched into every line of his face. Where once there should have been features, there is instead a smooth, unsettling landscape of flesh. "By the gods," he breathes, his voice catching in his throat, betraying his shock and disbelief. The girl's face, a featureless canvas, defies all understanding. Before the official can regain his composure, the girl lets out a sound, a chilling, demonic shriek that pierces the oppressive silence. The noise is otherworldly, resonating in the small room, reverberating with unholy power. The official freezes, his body locked in place by an unyielding force, his mind racing yet unable to command his limbs. In the suffocating embrace of the night, the official stands paralyzed, heart pounding against his ribcage like a caged animal desperate for release. The whispers of the faceless phantom still echo in his ears, each word a spectral touch that freezes his very soul. Overcome with an all-consuming terror, he turns abruptly, abandoning the familiar path home, and plunges into the depths of darkness in a frantic sprint. His feet pound the earth in a desperate rhythm, each step drawing him further away from the eerie silhouette of Xuan Huong Lake, its waters still rippling with the haunted memories of moments past. His lungs burn with the acrid taste of fear, yet he pushes onward, his mind a storm of panic and confusion. The official's flight is wild and erratic, his mind too scattered to chart any logical course. He veers onto the narrow paths that wind like serpents through the undergrowth, making a wide, haphazard detour around the lake. The fear inside him swells, a monstrous wave threatening to drown him in its depths. The night air is thick with an ominous chill, shrouded in shadows that dance mockingly around him. His legs tremble, every muscle taut with the strain of his frantic escape. He stumbles, his breath coming in ragged gasps, and realizes with a shudder of humiliation that he has soiled himself in his terror, an involuntary release born of pure, unadulterated fear. Finally, his energy spent, the official slows to a staggering halt. His chest heaves as he gasps for air, the adrenaline that fueled his flight ebbing away to leave him hollow and trembling. He stands amidst the whispering trees, their branches swaying gently as if in sympathy, and attempts to collect the scattered fragments of his composure. His eyes dart nervously, searching for signs of pursuit, but finding only the indifferent gaze of the stars overhead. Alone in the night, he struggles to calm his racing heart, willing himself to silence the echoes of terror that still reverberate in his mind. The night is cloaked in a heavy veil of mist, the air thick with an ominous chill that seems to seep into the bones. Along the shore of Xuan Huong Lake, a solitary figure walks with a purposeful stride. It's the official, his mind a tumult of thoughts, haunted by the apparition he had witnessed earlier. He soon arrives at a small porridge stall, a lone beacon of light in the all-enveloping darkness. The stall is modest, a wooden structure with a few stools scattered around a counter. An old woman sits behind the counter, her presence as ancient as the lake itself. Her eyes, hidden beneath the folds of her weathered face, seem to pierce through the gloom. The official approaches cautiously, nodding in greeting as he takes a seat. The old woman acknowledges him with a slight nod, her hands busy with a steaming pot of porridge. "Good evening, madam," he begins, his voice edged with a note of urgency. "I'm in need of warmth, perhaps a bowl of your finest porridge." She serves him silently, her movements deliberate and slow, the air around them thick with unspoken words. As he takes the first sip, he shudders, the warmth seeping into his limbs. "I saw something tonight, something terrifying," he confesses, his voice barely above a whisper. "A ghost, faceless and haunting." The old woman pauses, her hands stilling over the pot. She lifts her head slowly, her gaze meeting his. "You are not the first to see such things here," she says, her voice a low murmur, as if the words themselves are sacred. "Many have spoken of spirits that wander this lake, taking lives and leaving shadows." There is a pause, laden with the weight of history and tragedy. The official leans forward, his curiosity piqued despite the fear that gnaws at him. "It was faceless," he says, his voice trembling. "No eyes, no mouth, just a smooth, blank slate." The old woman nods slowly, her expression unreadable. Then, with deliberate slowness, she raises her head fully, allowing the dim light to cast across her features. The official's breath catches in his throat as he stares into the space where her face should be, now a featureless expanse, identical to the ghost he described. A strangled gasp escapes his lips as the world tilts dangerously, darkness closing in around him. He collapses to the ground, consciousness slipping away. The room was stark white, sterile, with the rhythmic beeping of machines punctuating the silence. Sunlight filtered through the blinds, casting striped shadows on the floor. The official, a man once brimming with authority and control, lay on the hospital bed. His eyes fluttered open, confusion swirling in their depths. He tried to sit up, but the dizziness pulled him back into the sheets. A nurse, noticing his stirring, hurried over. "Good morning, sir. You're in the hospital." You fainted from shock. Her voice was gentle, reassuring, but the official could feel the tendrils of fear tugging at the edges of his consciousness. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, as the official's mind remained trapped in a labyrinth of madness. His family, wearing worry on their faces like a permanent mask, visited daily. They spoke to countless doctors, handed over sheaves of money, desperate for a cure, a glimmer of hope. But the official remained locked away in his own world, a prisoner of his own mind. Nights were the worst. Shadows danced in his peripheral vision, whispering horrors that no one else could hear. Yet there was a resilience in his family's eyes, a flickering flame that refused to be extinguished. Nearly 5 years had passed when sanity finally began to seep back into the official's mind, like sunlight breaking through a stormy sky. His eyes, once clouded with confusion, now held clarity and recognition. He sat up, no longer restrained by invisible chains, and looked around the room with newfound awareness. His family, sitting at his bedside, tears streaming down their faces, embraced him tightly. Their voices, choked with emotion, filled the room with an overwhelming warmth. "Welcome back," they whispered, their words a balm to his weary soul. And in that moment, the nightmare loosened its grip, allowing him to breathe freely once more. Seated in the quiet study of the narrator's master, the official recounted his harrowing ordeal. His voice trembled as he relived the ghostly visions, the faceless phantoms haunting him relentlessly. "It was as if they were trying to pull me into their world, a world of darkness," he confessed, his hands shaking slightly. The master listened intently, his face a mask of understanding and empathy. "Fear can manifest in strange ways," the master replied, "but you have broken free. That is the strength of the human spirit." The official nodded, a sense